Bismarck, North Dakota, USA. It's a busy place. It has good reason to be busy. Bismarck is the Missouri River gateway to the west, a transportation crossroads, capital of a state which is producing $650 million of new wealth each year, headquarters of the oil industry in the fabulous Williston Basin, a city of 22,500 people, and growing so fast the population jumps every time you count again. Yes, Bismarck is a busy place. We've come a long way since the steamboat days when a little settlement called Crossing on the Missouri was established here in 1860, since Camp Greeley was built here in 1872, since the railroad came through in 1873. Today, Bismarck is on all the maps: 2 railroads, 2 federal highways, 9 truck lines, 2 bus companies, air service in all directions. We're proud of Bismarck. We think of Bismarck as the Queen City of North Dakota, as well as its capital. This summer, we lived up to that reputation in a big way. We had a lot of queens on hand for the Miss North Dakota Beauty Pageant, an official preliminary contest for the Miss America pageant. Naturally, we all went downtown to watch. Like most big events in Bismarck, this one drew people from towns from miles around. Guest of honor featured in the parade was Miss America of 1953, Neva Jane Langley. Directors were Mrs. Paul Johnson and Mrs. Charles Hartman. Miss Minot, Marjorie Ann Ludke. The American Legion Band, William G. Carroll Post, number 26. Beautiful North Dakota girls competed for this title. The Bagpipe Band from Bismarck Junior College and Gail Jean Stedman, Miss Bismarck Junior College. School Band. Miss Bismarck, Dolores Ann Paulson. Angela Hine, Miss Ellendale. 14 judges tried to select the fairest of the fair. They were E.F. Engebretson, W.W. Whitson, Mrs. C.R. Robertson, L. Torrance, Mr. Robertson, Howard Doherty, Mrs. William Davis, John O. Yelley, M.F. Peterson, Senator Milton Rue, F.E. Fitzsimmons, A.R. Winehandle, Russell Hurst, and Mrs. E. Toastoven. Many fine bands contributed to the gaiety of the occasion. Here is the American Legion Band, Lloyd Spetz Post number 2. In the judging in the Memorial Building, Miss Bismarck won the title. Dolores Ann Paulson, Miss North Dakota. In the world of trade and commerce, Bismarck is busy every day. The 7-Up Bottling Company in Bismarck serves 900 accounts in 11 nearby counties every week. Outlets in Bismarck and Mandan are serviced twice a week with equipment like this $6,000 unit, which is making a delivery in the new Casey edition. The 7-Up Bottling Company of Bismarck owns 7 trucks and is equipped to give special service to large picnics and other special events. Up, Jake Ailey brings another load. Get some help from Charles Fisher. Here's a note for the cook. Try making pie crust with 7-Up instead of water. Use 7-Up in gelatin desserts. In cake mixes for ice cream floats, it's good. 7-Up bottles are carefully washed, sterilized, rinsed, and cooled by a machine before they are filled. This machine can wash 90 cases of bottles an hour. The Bismarck 7-Up Bottling Company is operated by Jim McGurn. It has been in business in our town since 1947. Bottles are inspected as they are washed and are given a second inspection as they come from the washer. Bottles which pass the double inspection are conveyed into this bottler, which is synchronized to handle 90 cases an hour. Water for the popular beverage has been filtered 3 times to remove any chemical flavors. It is then freshly carbonated just before bottling. Bottles are charged with 7-Up syrup on one side of the machine, with purified sparkling water on the other. The whole cycle is automatic. Quality control is important in maintaining 7-Up's enviable reputation for flavor and purity. 3 samples are checked each hour. The proper volume of gas is important in a fresh-tasting, sparkling drink. This technician is testing the carbonation content. 7-Up is not a fruit beverage. Its unusual flavor is derived from the peels of lemons and limes and is imparted by a spray, so that none of the actual rind is in the syrup. 7-Up has been on the market for 25 years and has enjoyed an increase in national sales every year. That's real proof that you like 7-Up, and it agrees with you. Among the attractions on the state capitol grounds is the Liberty Memorial Building, a museum containing mementos of early days in Bismarck. Teddy Roosevelt's fondness for North Dakota is one of the heartwarming chapters in the state's history. His cabin from the Maltese Cross Ranch near Medora now stands on the Capitol grounds, and custodian Jordis Adams offers visitors an amazing fund of anecdotes about the colorful president. A fitting center of the Capitol grounds is the imposing structure itself, striking, beautiful, and compared with other governmental structures, economical. It was erected 20 years ago at a cost of $2 million. The building, faced with black granite and white limestone, is 20 stories high and contains more than 4 million cubic feet. 3 passenger elevators provide fast transportation to all floors. From this building, the 600 square miles of North Dakota are governed. From the observation deck on the 19th floor, an imposing panorama of city and prairie comes into view. North Dakota lies at the geographic center of North America, 1,500 miles from the Atlantic, Pacific, and Arctic Oceans and the Gulf of Mexico. The state's population is climbing toward 650,000. wide open spaces, transportation is important. Renz and Zierke General Tire Service in Bismarck lend a hand to transportation with complete recapping and repair service, pickup and delivery, and tire sales. They offer expert service to individual motorists and truckers and fleet owners. Recapping tires is a Renz and Zierke specialty. First step is inspection. The tire is removed from the hub, the tube is removed, and a mechanical tire spreader, which can exert a pressure of 5 tons without damaging the tire, holds the tire open for careful, close inspection. Dale Hare is checking this tire for brakes and cord separation. His inspector scope needle uses 200 pounds of air pressure to detect weaknesses in the casing. All flaws are marked on the tire before it goes to the buffing room. The true arc buffer works like a lathe, rounding the worn tire into a perfect circle again. Here, the buffer takes the high spots off a tire which was badly out of round. Holes, bruises, and cuts are rasped out and repaired, so the recapped tire will be sound and dependable. Vern Zierke checks on the progress of this rush job. Camelback, the tread rubber, is then cemented to the tire casing. Camelback is die cut for each size of tire. When the new surface is thoroughly dry, the tire is balanced. With the aid of this balancing device, weights can be used to determine where the tire should be heavier in order to turn smoothly. Rubber pads are added to the tire to make up the additional weight in the proper spot. The same type of truing and balancing service is available to motorists who would like better service from their passenger car tires. A balanced tire often will give 30% additional wear. Only Renz and Zierke offer this service in the Bismarck area. The curing process vulcanizes the new tread rubber to the tire casing. First, the tire is spread to fit into the curing band, where it assumes the shape it will have under heavy load. Heat of 300 degrees is applied for as long as 2 hours, guaranteeing that the new tread will remain bonded to the basing. Recapped tires often last longer than the original tread. Renz and Zierke guarantee the quality. Here's a top-quality retread from Renz and Zierke, dependable, roadworthy, long-lived. The growth of population in Bismarck is reflected in facilities like this clinic, one of 2 independent clinics in our town. This building, completed in March of 1954, serves many of the 50 doctors now practicing in Bismarck. Residents of the capital city area have the benefit of 2 modern approved hospitals with a combined capacity of 427 beds and outstanding dental service. 2 accredited nurses training schools provide a continuing supply of well-grounded young people for hospital and clinic staffs. Bismarck also has a junior college, a conservatory of music, and a commercial college. The Sweetheart Baking Company of Bismarck bakes for bread lovers from Valley City to Medora, from northern South Dakota to Garrison. We see here the first step in making bread, a mixer which combines ingredients for 900 loaves of bread in 13 minutes. The mixed dough is poured into troughs and allowed to slide down a chute to the first floor level, where a dividing machine automatically cuts it into pieces large enough to make 1 loaf of bread. Large bakeries such as the Sweetheart Baking Company, with efficient automatic equipment, make it possible for us to have good, nutritious bread at low cost. Alpha Habe weighs a sample piece from the line to be sure its weight is up to standard. next machine shapes the dough into balls. Then it is automatically lifted into an overhead proofer where it rests and raises. After this first raising, the pieces of dough drop into an automatic molder, which flattens the dough, shapes it into a loaf, and drops it into a pan. Dick Kewis, shop superintendent, operates the molder. The loaves in their greased pans are then stacked on racks and moved into a heated proofing box to raise again. Al Springer is handling them. The racks move on monorail tracks and never touch the ground. 4,000 loaves of bread can raise in the proofing box at a time. After an hour, they go to the oven. The loaves are placed on a shelf. The oven puts the bread in and takes it out at the proper time. This labor-saving giant bakes 5,400 pounds of bread an hour and is the only equipment of its size in the Northwest area. Here we see a Pullman loaf baked for restaurants. It is baked in a covered pan to obtain a square loaf. As the bread comes out of the oven, it is conveyed by rollers to cooling racks where the heat escapes before the loaves are wrapped. As soon as the bread is cool enough to be handled without damage, it is sliced, and the freshness and flavor are sealed in by automatic wrapping. We see the 1-pound potato loaf, long a favorite in Bismarck. Equipment at the Sweetheart Baking Company is all new, installed in 1952 and 1953, and is typical of the high quality which makes Sweetheart bread so popular. From a rip-roaring frontier town, Bismarck has matured into a city complete with the finer elements. A striking landmark is the Cathedral of the Holy Spirit, with a 178-foot poured concrete tower. Another of the newer churches is the First Church of Christ Scientist. First Protestant service in Bismarck was Episcopalian worship in 1873. This is St. George's Episcopal Memorial Church. The First Baptist Church is one of 3 Baptist congregations in Bismarck. The 20 churches in our city include Assembly of God, Adventist, Church of God, Evangelical, Jewish, several Lutheran synods, Methodist, Nazarene, Presbyterian, and Salvation Army. This is St. Mary's Church. A prime example of the free enterprise system which flourishes in Bismarck is the Dakota National Bank. From very modest beginnings, it has grown to 7th rank in size among the 153 banks in North Dakota. A.C. Gutman of Bismarck is making a commercial deposit with clerk Lillian Decker. In less than 25 years, the bank's deposits have grown from $400,000 to nearly $12 million. In a farming and ranching area, sound credit is as necessary as land. The Dakota National Bank makes a policy of supporting businesses and undertakings which help build the city and trade area of Bismarck. Here, E.A. Borer, rancher from Minokan, discusses a financial transaction with A.L. Hirsch, vice president and cashier at the bank. The Safety Deposit Box Department is a popular department of the bank. In 1949, a major remodeling enlarged the facilities for safety deposit boxes, the bookkeeping department, and the teller windows. 3 years later, the installment loan division demanded more space. Now, the bank has again outgrown its quarters and will shortly take bids on a substantial enlargement which will add 6,000 to 8,000 square feet of working space. 16 employees are kept busy in the bookkeeping department, where we see Adeline Slag operating a calculator and Virginia Itrich at the posting machine. Sylvia Schlatt and Dolores Bonnet sort checks before they're run through a proofing machine. This proofing machine, operated by Arthur Saylor, runs a constant check on the accuracy of calculation in all bank transactions. The bank started business with 6 employees in 1929. Today, it has 6 times as many. All checks are photographed by this Recordac microfilming machine before they leave the bank for the clearinghouse. We see Mary Jane Chadwich operating the machine, which also makes photographic records of important documents and bank records. In the conference and boardroom, Vice President Hirsch, President A.A. Mayer, Helen Baker, Emil Kautzman, and Pete Welk talk over a policy matter. The bank's 11 board members represent successful experience in retail and wholesale trade, farming, and finance. The Dakota National Bank can thus offer sound advice as well as friendly service. Another friendly place in Bismarck is the Apple Creek Country Club. Its activities include luncheons, weekly stag nights, ladies' golf tournaments, an annual Labor Day tournament between Bismarck and Mandan, and plenty of opportunity for less strenuous fun and relaxation. The main club building is brand new, just completed at a cost of $100,000. An invitational tournament held recently at the Apple Creek Club drew entries from throughout western North Dakota. President of the club is W.W. Whitson. R.A. Patterson is vice president, T.W. Setti, secretary, H.R. Winter, treasurer. Board members are E.V. Saltzman, Tom Kleppe, W.B. Pierce, and Carl Reff. Apple Creek is Johnny Buck, who services and repairs golf equipment and regulates much of the club competition in addition to offering instruction. About 350 families belong to the club. The course was designed by Harris and Thompson, Chicago golf course architects, and its greens are a challenge to the most skillful. Golf is not the only game where form, follow-through, and coming close to the pin are important. These fellows have their fun with less walking and no lost balls. And anybody who knows horseshoes knows a ringer is no easier than a one-putt. Housing additions and new shopping centers are evidence that Bismarck is growing. The Arrowhead Plaza shopping center is still under construction, but it is already in use by residents of the new Casey additions. When finished, it will contain a variety of shops and plentiful parking space. The first Casey addition was started by realtor T. Clem Casey in 1949, despite strong advice that Bismarck was not yet ready for this kind of development. Bismarck has more than lived up to Mr. Casey's expectations. The fourth Casey addition is now being completed and will finish development of an area west of the capital. About 200 workmen are employed on the project. All grading and earth moving are done before construction is started. Casey workmen have removed as much as 14 feet of earth and filled as much as 33 feet. Sewer and water connections are made and paid for. Quality construction is a point of pride with Casey. All the houses are insulated to be comfortable under extreme weather conditions, and first-grade materials are used throughout. Casey's spacious 2- and 3-bedroom homes are equipped with automatic gas heat, tiled bath, modern kitchens, and harmonious decorating. They pack more buying power into your home dollar than you thought possible. Casey also has an industrial development underway in the southeast section. Rail sidings, power, gas, and water connections are being made. 5 companies have already moved in, and Casey, like the rest of us, sees a big growth ahead for Bismarck. State headquarters of the Associated Press are in the Bismarck Tribune building. AP headquarters and the Tribune newsroom are the focal point for the day's news. Jim Caswell, one of 3 men in the AP room, takes a look at a story arriving by teletype. Sometimes news arrives by telephone. Special telephone equipment enables the operator to take down the information quickly. This modern editorial department is headed by John Yelley. The Tribune has been telling the world about Bismarck and vice versa since 1873, when Bismarck was a village of 150 shacks. Anna Marie McKinnon covers police, city hall, and courthouse news. She's been with the Tribune for years. High distinction came to the Tribune in 1937 when a Pulitzer Prize was conferred for public service during the Dust Bowl emergency. Mrs. George Mann, widow of one of the prize-winning writers, is now publisher. William S. Moeller is manager. Chief photographer for the Tribune is Leo Lalonde. He says his best assignment in 11 years was the Miss North Dakota pageant. Photographs are printed and engraved on metal so they can be printed in the Tribune. Art Hammerly operates this photo engraving machine. Art has been with the Tribune for years. Merle Starr is one of 3 stereotypers who cast lead plates from which each page of the Tribune is finally printed. His casting machine holds 3 tons of metal at a temperature of 600 degrees. He casts about 40 plates a day. When the curved plates have been cast, they are trimmed and the edges are grooved so they will stay on the press cylinders during the high-speed printing process. The press foreman, M.C. Autumn, locks completed plates on the press. Each page plate weighs 55 pounds. The press can deliver 18 to 20,000 24-page papers in an hour. It is being replaced by a new press which will print 20,000 64-page papers an hour. It's a far cry from the old days when type was set by hand and only a few hundred copies were printed. The Tribune had been operating for 3 years at the time of the Custer Massacre in 1876 and was the first newspaper to tell the story. Ever since that historic exclusive, the Tribune has devoted itself to 2 objectives: to be first with the news and to serve Bismarck and North Dakota. Back in the 1930s, when nobody was prosperous, many observers thought Bismarck would never amount to much. Recent years have happily proved otherwise. Today, our city is growing fast. You can see it and hear it everywhere. The city is being modernized. Streets, water mains, gas lines, other utilities designed for a smaller community are being replaced by facilities on a scale with Bismarck's future. It's a noisy process, but it's a sure sign of growth, and we're proud to have it. Bismarck has reason to grow. It is in a strategic position for oil operations and for mining western North Dakota's inexhaustible supply of lignite coal. Industries which need to be close to these raw materials will find Bismarck ideal. We can supply electricity, natural gas, steam, plenty of filtered and treated water. To new residents, we offer a well-developed city with 12 parks, a $50,000 lighted softball field, golf courses, tennis courts, a horseman's club, and a fine athletic field. We have 2 modern hospitals, excellent clinics, 20 churches, a strong school system. Our bank deposits have risen over $140 million. Business is active. Our population is 5 times as big as in 1910. Watch those machines. That's the mark of a city's vitality. Residents of Bismarck, North Dakota are air-minded. They are fortunate in having scheduled air service in all directions. Bismarck is the only city in North Dakota with daily flights north, south, east, and west. In addition to service by Northwest Airlines and Braniff International Airlines, Bismarck has good air taxi service which reaches Denver in 3.5 hours, in time to connect with scheduled flights reaching Los Angeles the same day. Capital Aviation Service has 5 pilots, each with more than 3,000 hours in the air, and 8 planes. Bob Watts is taking us up for an air view of Bismarck. Capital Aviation offers instructions, sales and service, charter flights, and air ambulance. It has the only complete service for communications equipment within a 500-mile radius. Below us, we see the air taxi on its way, the state capitol, and houses in the new Casey additions. Bismarck grew from a crossing on the Missouri. Today, a lot of traffic crosses here. Discovery of oil in 1951 made Bismarck the headquarters of the Williston Basin. This is the new Standard Oil refinery. A new Mandan power plant, to be opened in 1955, will strengthen and stabilize our power reserves. Below us now are the 4 Casey additions begun in 1949, despite discouraging advice that Bismarck could not support such a development. The 4th addition of well-planned landscaped homes is now being completed. Bismarck has grown from 5,000 in 1910 to nearly 25,000 today. It's approximately the geographical center of North Dakota on highways 83 and 10, which becomes the main street downtown. This major artery is a primary thoroughfare for trucks, farm vehicles, and buses. North Dakota State Penitentiary lies close to Bismarck. The largest dairy farm in North Dakota is owned and operated by Bismarck's oldest dairy and only local dairy, Yeagan's. Pilot Bob Watts brings us back to the airport. About 40 private planes are kept at Bismarck's municipally operated airport. They have the benefit of a complete U.S. Weather Bureau service with balloons sent up twice daily to record conditions at high altitudes. Mechanical and electronic aids, except radar, are available here. Concrete products are much in demand when a city and a state are building toward a prosperous future. At the North Dakota Concrete Products Company, a hydraulic forklift moves an 18-inch culvert pipe from the curing room, where it has been curing for 24 hours in water-saturated steam. North Dakota Concrete Products Company produces irrigation pipe, reinforced culvert pipe, sewer pipe, and manholes for cities, contractors, Army engineers, and the Bureau of Reclamation. Some products are as large as 84 inches in diameter. Large irregular shapes are poured in molds, but smaller symmetrical objects can be made by machine on a production line basis. Wire reinforcing is put into the mold, which is locked and moved to a turntable. The concrete is then conveyed to the mold and is packed in by a centrifugal packing head. There are only 4 machines like this one in the United States. This unique mold makes it possible to remove the mold as soon as the packing process is complete. Capacity of this machine is 23 to 27 pieces an hour. The concrete mixer and hoist attached to it can deliver 3,000 pounds of mixed concrete every 5 to 8 minutes. The hoist raises the mixture into a hopper. Then it is conveyed into the mold and packed. Much of the machinery used at North Dakota Concrete Products is custom-made for the plant and is the subject on continuous study and redesign. The big concrete mixer in the mold-made pipe department is fed by a conveyor and delivers 4,000 pounds of concrete every 90 seconds. Materials are weighed and gathered in a power-driven carrier, the only one of its kind in the area. This weigh batcher assures the exact proportions of sand, cement, and gravel in each batch of concrete. North Dakota Concrete Products has an 8-acre tract of land, giving it plenty of storage space. It has been doing business for 29 years and employs about 25 men. Its products are finding more and more users, partly because of the inherent durability and utility of concrete, and partly because the North Dakota Concrete Products Company turns out a quality product with high strength and carrying capacity. The annual Elks Picnic makes use of the 4-H picnic grounds near Minokan. The Elks are among the most active organizations in Bismarck. Each May 1st, they celebrate National Youth Day. This year, they observe the occasion by entertaining all the Bismarck High School seniors. The Bismarck Elks Lodge is noted for its activities in behalf of youth. The Bismarck Lodge really lives up to its name, the Benevolent and Protective Order of Elks, in its thoughtful arrangements for crippled children. Each year, crippled children are given the benefit of camping at Camp Grassick, an Elks camp operated by the State Welfare Department. When it is possible, the Lodge brings all the children in camp into Bismarck to see the state capitol, the city, and the circus. The Elks sponsor a band which contains members of all ages. The Bismarck Elks Lodge sponsors 3 Boy Scout troops. They donated the Elks swimming pool and recently added $16,000 worth of new equipment. The Lodge brings outstanding artists to town, paying all expenses and donating gross proceeds to charity. The annual swimming meet between Jamestown, Miles City, and Bismarck was held at our Elks Pool. Donated by the Elks, the pool is operated by the city and maintained in part by Elks contributions. This event is the Women's Open 160-yard relay, which Jamestown won, with Bismarck second. This is serious business, as anybody can plainly see. In the men's 160-yard open relay, the points were reversed. Bismarck won, and Jamestown came in second. The meet drew about 40 contestants from the 3 cities. Master Cleaners and Furriers is one of the many small, independent businesses that are growing with Bismarck. Its owners, Irwin Barbie and Edward Drashel, are making a success of their operation by offering modern dry cleaning work, good service, including free pickup and delivery, and by making friendly, reliable efficiency the basis of their customer relations. Cutter Ted Erickson has a master's hand in repairing and remodeling. With 23 years' experience, Ted qualifies as a master cutter. He works as a team with his wife, who brings 18 years' experience to her work. Here, she runs a special fur sewing machine. First operation in good dry cleaning is the removal of lint and dirt from cuffs and pockets. This special machine helps master cleaners do a thorough job. Clean cuffs and pockets are a sign of good dry cleaning. Next, the garment is examined for spots, which are removed by distilled water and steam to loosen the stain and appropriate solvents. Deodorant removes any solvent odor, and warm air pressure dries the area. The garment is then ready for the dry cleaning machine, which tumbles garments in cleaning solution. The solution includes solvent, a special soap, and moisture. The clothes go into an extractor which removes most of the solvent, and then into a rinse washer containing a solvent which dissolves any remaining traces of soap. This rinsing process is an important factor in the kind of cleaning master cleaners' customers like so well. Any garment which does not come clean in one processing is run through again and again until it meets master's exacting standards. Dry cleaning solvent is filtered and distilled after each use. After rinsing, garments are tumbled in fresh, warm air to aerate and deodorize them. Then they are pressed, repaired, and delivered. Professionally cleaned garments the owner is proud to wear. The Old West is still alive and kicking, sometimes at the Bismarck Horse Club. Levi's and Frontier pants are the uniform of the day, and 10-gallon hats are required equipment. More than 100 Western-minded souls belong to the Bismarck Horse Club, enjoying excursions into the fresh air and the pleasures and problems of the past. Morning canters, thrown shoes, chuck wagon meals, saddle sores, the joy of a good cutting horse turning under you, rope burns and wire cuts, the happy world of the horseman. South of Bismarck, the club has 35 acres of open land and an excitingly scenic bridle path winding along the Missouri River. Calf roping and other rodeo skills are both popular sport and occupational equipment around Bismarck, where there are many ranches and a corresponding number of cattle and working horses. Among the agile and adept members of the club is Jim Childs of Mandan. Rodeos and horse shows make life around Bismarck interesting for people who like horses. Bismarck's only locally owned dairy operates the largest dairy farm in North Dakota with 300 head of high-grade Holsteins. The Yeggen Dairy Company is the largest exclusive distributors of milk and cottage cheese in the state. As the milk arrives from the farm, it's conveyed inside the plant, weighed, sampled for flavor and richness, and poured into a stainless steel holding tank by Clarence Balkowitz. Almost immediately, the milk moves into a new type of high-temperature, short-time pasteurizer. This completely sealed stainless steel unit pasteurizes the milk in less than 20 seconds, lowering the bacteria count more effectively than the conventional method while preserving more fine, fresh flavor. Plant manager Herbert Matheson checks the master instrument panel. Yeggens employs about 10 technicians. Milk is hermetically sealed during all processing. Tanks were specially opened for photographs. When the milk has been pasteurized, homogenized, enriched with vitamin D concentrate, cooled, and completely processed, it arrives steel-sealed in stainless steel tubes at the bottler. Sterile bottles are delivered under stainless steel hoods and are filled without being touched. Coverall caps protect the pouring lip of the bottle from soil until it is opened on your table. Milk is stored at 40 degrees, the best temperature for safekeeping while preserving flavor. It is delivered in refrigerated trucks. Yeggen milk is also put up in paper cartons. The cartoning machine is as automatic as the bottler. The milk is never exposed to air. Yeggen Dairy is famous for its quality cottage cheese, a high-protein food and a favorite on the table. Like all the equipment which touches dairy products in this modern plant, the cottage cheese vat, rake, and scoop are made of stainless steel. Yeggens make creamed and dry cottage cheese, large curd and country style. Fluid milk products include buttermilk, whipping and coffee cream, and chocolate milk. Only grade A milk and cream are used for Yeggen cottage cheese. Mr. Matheson runs a cream test here. A stainless steel machine weighs and packs the cottage cheese in waxed paper cartons. A coverall cap protects the lip of the carton and permits easy reclosing when part of the cheese has been used. Young couples dream of a home of their own, an important step in settling into family life. Hardly anyone can afford to buy outright, though. Are you looking for a solution to this dilemma? Well, here is the place for you to go. The First Federal Savings and Loan Association operates under federal charter and invests most of its funds in home mortgages in Bismarck, Mandan, and a 50-mile radius. A newlywed couple thinking about buying a home talk over the project with A.C. Gutman, Assistant Secretary of First Federal. Money invested with the association is federally insured up to $10,000. prospects look hopeful, the young couple must be a good risk. They progress to the office of R.A. Kramer, Secretary Manager of First Federal. The Savings and Loan Association has doubled its size in the last 4 years and now has total resources of nearly $6 million. These resources represent savings of people in our city, which have been invested in interest-bearing home loans. As a result, attractive dividends have been paid to every account twice a year, every year. 85% of the loans made by First Federal must be on private homes. 15% may be commercial. A savings account in the Savings and Loan Association is in the same general class as bank savings accounts, postal savings, and life insurance. Money is easily available for withdrawal. Any amount can be invested at any time. Many customers do business by mail. Office hours are reasonable. Savings invested at First Federal help build Bismarck by making money for home building available to dependable families and individuals. All valuable records at the First Federal Savings and Loan Association are kept in this Diebold record desk. The safe can withstand fire temperatures up to 1,850 degrees. It will survive being dropped 30 feet into the basement under fire conditions. If the combination is tampered, it deadlocks. For ordinary use, a touch of a button puts the records within easy reach. This modern safe is your guarantee of the safety of financial records at First Federal. The Bismarck Chamber of Commerce is quartered in the World War Memorial Building, in which we hold many special events, such as the Miss North Dakota contest. Immediately across the street is the Bismarck Public Library. Making good use of its facilities are Karen Hall and Sandy Dillaboo. A drive-in book return recently was installed. The children's reading room is a popular place. A reading club helps the youngsters improve their time during the summer. The library has 7,000 children's books. Donald and Carol Perry and Freddie Frawley are browsing today. A library service that is much appreciated is the hospital tour. A librarian calls at each hospital every day. The library contains more than 28,000 volumes and an impressive number of periodicals and pamphlets. Mattie Hamry, the children's librarian, helps Freddie Frawley check out a book, while Mrs. William Wall, assistant children's librarian, works at the card catalog. Bismarck children learn early that a book is an entertaining friend. Deloise Thomas and Marilyn Peterson are typical of Bismarck young people who learn to use and enjoy a library. Bismarck's A.W. Lucas Company is an outstanding department store. It was honored this year by the Brand Name Foundation and the Merchants Trade Journal as one of the 4 top retailers and merchandisers in the United States. Tom Sawyer clothes go over big with young men, size 4 to grown-up. The Lucas Company carries Bismarck's most complete stock of boys' wear. In the complete cosmetic department, the most outstanding item is Charles of the Ritz face powder, mixed to the customer's individual coloring. Helen Houck, trained by the Charles of the Ritz School, is an expert in blending custom cosmetics to enhance the best features of the individual. These little ladies and their mothers get quick personal service, a specialty at the A.W. Lucas store. The present owner, A.W. Monday, purchased the store from the founder's estate in 1923. The air-conditioned store includes 2 big floors and the downstairs china and gift shop and lunchroom. The Northwest's most complete stock of dry goods is available in the fabrics department. Seeing how a fabric looks made up is a special service appreciated by women who sew their own stylish clothes. This department also includes drapery material, ready-made draperies and curtains, linens, bedding, home furnishings, household appliances, Philco television, sewing accessories, needle artwork, and all items useful to the homemaker and home decorator. Franciscan dinnerware is a particularly handsome and practical example of quality goods available at the Lucas store. It combines durability with beauty, impressive modern design with modest price. This fine earthenware is only one of many attractive patterns available. The department features a bridal gift registry and an all-occasion gift registry to avoid duplications. Typical of the personalized service available at the A.W. Lucas Company is free gift wrapping for all purchases made in the store. In keeping with its description as Bismarck Shopping Center, the A.W. Lucas Company is the only Bismarck department store giving free delivery. Mail order and telephone shoppers can save downtown trips by using the complete personal shopping service. For more than 50 years, the A.W. Lucas Company has grown with Bismarck, stressing nationally advertised merchandise and careful personal service. Let's have a look at the Missouri River, which has played such an important part in Bismarck's history. This boat, belonging to Henry Fleur, is a 14-foot runabout capable of doing over 30 miles per hour on the water. In addition to selling and servicing boats in the Bismarck area, Mr. Fleur is past president of the Bison Boat Club. Boating has become more popular since upriver construction of Garrison Dam has stabilized the river. Bison Boat Club has about 110 members. It is the biggest boat club in the Northwest, and it has an enviable safety record. None of its members has ever been involved in a river accident. Bismarck boaters have made trips up the river as far as Garrison Dam and down as far as Mobridge, South Dakota. Most of the river boats are small, fast power boats necessary in the tricky currents. The river is also used by fishermen who catch catfish, walleyed pike, northern pike, and sturgeon when their luck is right. The riverbank holds more for Bismarck than scenery. It holds the clues to Bismarck's future. The Mandan Power Plant will be the second largest in the state and will equip us for greater growth. The Standard Oil Refinery is visible proof that Bismarck is the center of North Dakota's expansion in oil, that Bismarck will be busy and growing busier, that we will continue to be proud of our town, Bismarck, North Dakota, USA.